And wow, what a week it's been. We have the Alex Pretti shooting with the ICE incident, where I believe it was a 100% justified shooting. And reason being is because Alex Pretti was a defector. He was an insurrectionist. He was a criminal. He was trying to thwart lawful ICE operations, which were already greenlit by the president.
Been filmed on January 13th in Minneapolis, showing a man who appears to be Alex Pretti interacting with federal immigration agents 11 days before Border Patrol shot and killed him. Our footage was analyzed by the BBC, whose facial recognition technology confirmed his identity to a 97% degree of accuracy.
Now, the DHS released a report, and here is exactly what that says. At 9:05 a.m. Central Time, as DHS law enforcement officers were conducting a targeted operation in Minneapolis against an illegal alien wanted for violent assault, an individual approached U.S. Border Patrol officers with a 9mm semi-automatic handgun, seen here. The officers attempted to disarm the suspect, but the armed suspect violently resisted. More details on the armed struggle are forthcoming. Fearing for his life and the lives and safety of fellow officers, an agent fired defensive shots. Medics on scene immediately delivered medical aid to the subject, but was pronounced dead at the scene. The subject also had 2 magazines and no ID. This looks like a situation where an individual wanted to do maximum damage and massacre law enforcement. About 200 rioters arrived at the scene and began to obstruct and assault law enforcement on the scene. Crowd control measures were deployed for the safety of the public and law enforcement. This situation is still evolving and more information is forthcoming, which it is. And a lot of that new information suggests that he wasn't even armed, the man. However, with that being said, we watched the video. Watch it again in slow motion, and as you can see that there is a real struggle happening here. And these were lawful operations. These police officers were not acting in a sense of a tyrannical police state at all. They were on assignment. They were to arrest illegal immigrants. They were to arrest fraudsters. They were to arrest the rapists. They were to arrest the pedophiles. All of the people that have been in a database that we've already put into a database. A lot of these people that you've seen on the Nick Shirley expose, where he exposed like $8 billion worth of fraud out of these Somali daycare centers where they had no kids at them. Again, whether that's money laundering or trafficking, where are the kids? These are all important questions that we need to ask. Where are the children and who are these people? And at the end of the day, Alex Pretti, to me, in my opinion, ultimately was no different than Renee Nicole Good, where these were, interestingly enough, they were found to be in the same signal chat where they were alerting other protesters in the area of ICE operations and ICE vehicles as they were coming into the location of where the incident occurred, which is very interesting. And there were already protesters there in the area. This smells very much like a Soros-funded op. This smells like a black op. This smells like a CIA operation, and it seems as clear as day to me. And ultimately, we have to remember that somebody died, somebody's life was lost, but what a lot of people aren't talking about that I see on Facebook or TikTok or all of these liberals and crazy radicals that want to go overthrow the government because they see ICE as Nazi, ultimately, what they're missing is that this is law enforcement. This was law and order. And ultimately, Alex Pretti wanted to defy law and order. He wanted lawlessness. No different than Renee Nicole Good, who accelerated her vehicle at an ICE agent and nearly killed him. What happened if he would have died? What would have happened if this ICE agent died a few days ago with Alex Pretti? What would we have thought then? And as a police officer myself, this is why I really hold the same exact position that I had originally. I see this as a 100% justified shoot, and I don't see anything wrong with the actions that the officers did, other than maybe the last 3 seconds of the videos I've seen where a few of the officers were backpedaling and still firing, but it also seemed to be shock and awe. This was a tragic accident, ultimately, when you look over everything. Alex Pretti, he was there because he didn't want to protest. He didn't want to have a picket sign out there. He wanted to cause disorder, and he wanted to dox these ICE agents. He wanted to find out where they live, okay? And so you have to understand that these officers don't know that. So this person basically obstructed a lawful arrest that was being made on a woman in that area, and he was stopping them from doing that. And then he even squared up with them. So it's important to note, a lot of these incidents that we're seeing, this is the result of no law and order. This is the result of people who don't respect law and order. This is the result of individuals who believe that there should be lawlessness. And so when this exists in a society, you cannot have a strong, developed society. So this is why it must be honestly crushed. And I believe that Donald Trump must invoke the Insurrection Act for the greater good of the public, because these people are dangerous. An ICE officer's finger was bitten off. So that's something to think about. And nobody's talking about that. Ultimately, what's even crazier is that Alex Pretti's gun is the gun that went off first. He was disarmed by ICE Agent A. If you watch any of the videos, then ICE Agent B, who fired upon him, essentially basically fired only milliseconds after that first shot was pulled. Basically showing that these officers were all looking for the gun in that skirmish within the millisecond period where the gun was disarmed off of Alex, and then basically the gun had went off by itself. You can see it in the video, and it's basically like something with the safety switch of the P322 6R pistols, which is what this was. And by the way, mind you that Alex Pretti also he had 2 fully loaded magazines. So who's talking about that? Nobody wants to have that conversation. So who are these people? Okay, they're alerting a bunch of insurrectionists. They're basically aiding and embedding criminals. That's already a crime in itself. And to dox ICE agents and with intent to obstruct a law enforcement investigation, this man should have had prison time, maybe 9-10 years prison time. And so you tell me, maybe I'm wrong, but that's just my stance on that. 100% justified shooting, undoubtedly. And after looking at all the different videos, all the different facts, the action that caused this was Alex Pretti being there and being in the middle of the road, trying to dox ICE agents, stopping them from doing lawful work. Not police state work, not arresting innocent people. These people, ICE, were arresting very illegal people, illegal immigrants, and many of these people fraudsters. The very people that Elon Musk has been trying to expose. Billions of dollars found in fraud. What are you doing to expose fraud? We need to have a more mainstream conversation about what we're going to do about the media and how much control it has over the minds of the masses. Because now you have people on the right that are basically infighting. You have a lot of people who are now saying that Israel is involved. And I do not believe Israel is involved in this, because ultimately the radical left is the radical left. We've always had this problem of the radical left, and every country does. Every country has the traitors and the treasoners and the insurrectionists. Every country has counterinsurgents. Every country has communists and Marxists and Leninists and Jews, okay? Every country has these things. Every country has Sharia law agents of chaos waiting to spark any kind of disorder. And this exists. This is the real world you live in. This is beyond the propaganda. When you look beyond the propaganda, things begin to make more sense. And the academies that I've went to, the training that I've done, and the officers that I've met, some of the work that I've gotten to do, and I have some very interesting work I've gotten to do also. So I have experience working with a lot of these different, kinds of people and these different psychographics of people and analyzing these kind of people and a lot of the work that I did in law enforcement. And now I take this to you just because I see it as so important to talk about, my experience as a cop based on what I see online. The dynamics of social media seem to be completely shifting the tides, whether it's simulation or not. We are in some kind of simulation theory. We can never allow ourselves to become like Minneapolis, Minnesota, where all of these things are happening. So you guys tell me what you think. Is this a good shoot or a bad shoot based on all of the video evidence that you've seen? Check out this other video I made, the original video I made, where I analyze and break down the actual videos. This is just commentary in today's video, but I wanted to get your take on it, and I wanted to give my fresh and updated opinion on what I believed. And so you guys tell me, what do you guys think? Be sure to like, share, comment, subscribe, and follow for more content like this. I'm trying to grow this account, and we're trying to scale for you to give you the best information possible. So see you next time. And if you need to work with me, you need to grow your business, you want to grow in real estate, DM me and we'll talk. See you next time.